I'm not in my usual space. I hope this works okay. Like, the phone's down kind of low. I normally have it up like eye level, but anyway. So I am at the 2021 Nobel CrossFit Games in Madison, Wisconsin. Today was the last day. If you have not been following along, the CrossFit Games, for those of you who don't know, and you probably know, but I have to assume that some people don't know. It's sort of like our Olympics, only the catch is that you don't always know what events they're going to do. And that's what makes it really exciting, because you literally, CrossFit gets you ready for the unknown and the unknowable. And so a lot of the events are published ahead of time, right? So the athletes know what they're going to do. But I'm sorry, I'm fidgeting. I don't know why. So that some of the events, again, they know what they're going to do, and then some of them they don't know what they're going to do, and that's what makes it really fun. And so I have spent an exorbitantly large amount of money this week, but that's okay, because it's something that I plan for every single year to do. So this is kind of what I do instead of taking like multiple vacations and stuff like that from work. So this is kind of my 1 week out of the year where I am not thinking about work at all, and I'm just having fun and enjoying it and meeting new people and seeing friends and whatnot. So anyway, Tia Claire Toomey won her 5th consecutive CrossFit Fittest Woman on Earth. Bleh, words are hard today. Title today. She won by 300 points. I mean, I forget. It was substantial. She now has the most event wins as well. So she passed Matt Frazier, who was the 5-time and consecutive 5-time men's champion. He retired this year. And so we have a new fittest man on earth. His name is Justin Medeiros. He is from the state of Washington. He is the youngest. He's 22 to ever hold the title as the fittest on earth. So he obviously has a bright future in the sport, and it was fun to watch. It was really weird not seeing Matt Frazier on the competition floor. He was there. He brought his wife and was watching, and some of the athletes that were injured this year that couldn't participate were there, and then there was a couple of girls who were hurt in the middle of the competition. They were able to come in. Obviously they're still in town, so they came in to watch the finals and stuff today too. So that was really cool. But strange not to see Matt competing, and knowing that if he was competing, he probably would have been 500 points ahead by today. He's pretty legit. So but he works really hard, right? So that's part of it, right? Is that you get to this level by working that hard. And so but Tia Claire just on a whole different level. Like, it's so incredible to watch. She's just good at everything, right? Like, she's not always the best, right? Because there's like a misconception that you have to win every event at the CrossFit Games to win the CrossFit, fittest title, to be the fittest person on earth. You don't. And so you only need to win, a couple of first places, but you just have to be super consistent with what you're doing. So, but she's just so well-rounded, right? And so it was really cool to see that happen. And then Annie Thorisdottir, who just had a baby just a year ago, was back competing this year, and she took 3rd place. And I will not spoil it for you guys. So if you are interested, please go to the, to the CrossFit Instagram or Facebook or freaking Twitter, or go on YouTube and watch the last 2 days worth of events. And you will see Annie Thorisdottir, who is from Iceland, just such an incredible, this is probably my favorite games so far. And this is my 4th. Well, I've watched it 5 times, in person 4. Obviously last year we were not in person because they were in California and it was COVID and they didn't have spectators. And just, just to come back, and to be on the podium when a month ago, she didn't even think she was, going to compete. She didn't, she just didn't think she was, ready and, was going to be able to keep up and do things. And yeah, so it was absolutely really incredible. So I highly encourage you to watch the last 3 or 4 events. So, yesterday and then today. And yeah, you'll be able to see all the amazing things that she was able to accomplish. One of my favorite athletes, Cara Saunders, she had to drop out. She had actually caught COVID on the way to the United States like 3 weeks ago. And then by the time she got here and got situated, she was no longer positive. Like, no, I think she had a positive COVID test, but she was no longer contagious. And so she initially started to compete and competed for, a day and a half or so. And then had to withdraw because she is having complications from COVID. She has I forget what it's called, but it's like a post-COVID something, and she has very limited lung capacity. She figures about 10%, and there are actually photos of her from this weekend, and you can see her lips are blue because she just simply is not able to get enough oxygen in. And she tried. She was really trying because she just had fought so hard to get here. And she just had a baby too, like 2 years ago. And so she left her family to come here, and she ended up getting sick and then ended up having to withdraw, and now she, I'd assume at this point is probably on her way home. And that was a whole other thing for her too. Like she, in Australia to come back in, and I'm probably not saying it right, so don't be all like, don't at me. She had to take a COVID test like within like 24 or 48 hours prior to leaving, and if she was still competing today and her flight leaves tomorrow, she wouldn't have been able to like get that test done in time in order to get cleared to fly. Like it was just a real bizarre situation. But I'm glad she came. It sucks that she had gotten sick because she has been second to Tia in the past, and so I was really looking forward to her getting here and like just having a good time and watching her. She's an incredible athlete as well, and she just she's just too sick. So it was a good call to just withdraw, and hopefully get home right as soon as she possibly can. And so a lot of the athletes will stick around, I think. Some of them will go back like tomorrow, the next day, but I kind of feel like a lot of them stick around for like a week and they do a lot of debriefing and stuff. And then, and then in February, it's the open again already. So it's only, 6 months and we're right back into the open season. And then the games will be here a year from now, which goes by super, super fast. So, I personally look for Tia Claire to retire. There's nothing left for her to prove at this point, although again, she's on such a different level than all the other women competing. The day she decides she doesn't want to win is the day that someone else can win, right? And that's kind of, yeah, she's just so dominant. Like she's the most dominant athlete in history. Like she's crazy. It's, but she's going to do the bobsled team for Australia next year at the Winter Olympics. So it'll be interesting to see what she decides. I don't think that she's going to come out like anytime this year and say she's retiring. I think she will do kind of what Fraser did. She'll announce it next year. Everyone's expecting her to retire, and maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe she'll come back and do 6. Like who knows, but again, just an incredible experience this week. As it's always fun, and yeah, it was really good. So I encourage you to watch it. It's on CBS was there, like it was on television. But it was, like I said, it's also on YouTube. So watch it. And like I said, I think you will love it. Anyway, so I just wanted to give you guys a quick update because I am going home tomorrow. I have Kitty with me. We're hanging out in the hotel. It's been fun, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting back to my routine. But I wanted to give you guys an update before I left to just post something, kill some time tonight because I'm literally sitting here by myself. And now the CrossFit games are over. Like, what purpose do I have? Like, I got nothing to do. So anyway, we got an offer on my dad's house. Yeah, crazy, huh? And it was a cash offer. Even better. So no inspection, no appraisals, like no bullshit. Just getting a check, to pay off, the realtor and the house and the home equity loan that's on the house, and then I'll pay off the bills, and then that's all she wrote. So we're gonna close on August 9th, and so as soon as I get back tomorrow, I have to stop at home and obviously bring Kitty home, and I have to print off a bunch of documents, and I have to take them to the bank and have them notarized. and then I'm dropping them in the mail. And we'll close, like I said, August 9th. And then, yeah. And then hopefully I am able to even file fiduciary paperwork this month, and get the estate closed, and then close the bank accounts, like do all that kind of stuff, and then whatever's left over, just write a check to my brothers, And so the offer is not as strong as our first offer was, but it is still a very good offer, and it's a very fair offer, considering the location again in the market and all that kind of stuff. And this is literally the best, I think, possible outcome we could have hoped for, other than having someone, who happened to have a lender who could have given us a more fair appraisal based on market value. So yeah, so really excited about that, happy about it, glad this got almost done, because it's a lot to deal with. If anyone's ever been through this, you totally understand what I'm talking about. Like, it's just a lot. It's a lot, and I was telling my mom something too about, like, I haven't had time to process a lot of stuff, and it's kind of weird because it's like my brothers, I think, have had a different experience, and I don't want to put words in their mouth or whatever, but like, my dad's stuff is in my house, right? Like, all the bills are there. I still get mail with his name on it. Like, my house smells like my dad. Like, all these things, right? And so it's just going to be like, I think once I get the estate closed and I can just like put all the paperwork in storage, and, like, I think I will feel different than I do right now. And like right now I'm like riding high really emotionally just from this week being, at this amazing event with all these incredible athletes, and the emotion of, the things that had happened. Some very good athletes tested positive for COVID and they couldn't stay. One of the athletes was having a really bad allergic reaction to something and he had to drop out. 2 girls got injured, like, Danny Spiegel, she twisted her ankle coming down off a rope climb. And then yesterday, in like the snatch event, there's a 1 rep max snatch event, like Brooke Wells dislocated her elbow right in front of my face, like literally 8 feet away from me, and my seats were really close this year, and I saw her like fall and cry, and like, thank God we have such amazing, paramedics that are here to help the athletes and the spectators, obviously, if someone has a medical emergency. And thankfully it was just a dislocation, and I know that sounds terrible to say it that way, but like, it wasn't, she didn't break her arm, like she didn't, it's nothing, they didn't have to like rush her to UW and take her to surgery, like, and she was there today watching her friends, compete, and and I'm sure it was really, really hard for her because like, she's a very good athlete, and Brooke Wells is one of those girls. First of all, Dave Castro loves her. Like, she's pretty, she looks the part, she's been training with Tia Claire and her husband in Nashville. And I think that early on in Brooke, when she first started competing, like, people felt that she was like the United States' best chance of like getting on the podium like repeatedly, because she's a good athlete, and it hasn't materialized that way yet. And she's young though, like, she's young. And I think if she keeps training with Tia and Jane, like, I think that she probably can get there, right? And so, but to see her get injured in such a, freak thing, and, thankfully, like I said, we have excellent paramedics. Like, they came out onto the floor right away. They stabilized her arm. They got her out of, of the, the spectators right away. So no one, was like gawking at her, taking her picture and stuff. And then, we're able to help her. And then they discharged her. Obviously, she had to medically withdraw from competition. She could not continue. It would not have been safe for her to do that. And then they let her go back to her, her hotel or the house or wherever she's staying. And so, and another really cool thing that came out of that, I know I'm rambling, and then we'll move on, is that the videos that were taken of that, when it happened, have been deleted from, obviously people have it, you can find it, but I thought it was really good that the CrossFit media deleted the videos, that were posted, like the tape of her getting injured that was like already online, because it's what they do, they had taken that portion down, which I thought was very respectful of them to do that. But anyway, so a lot of really crazy things, but it's very emotional, and this is my sport. This is what I live for, right? Like, And being here has actually helped me, and I'm going to save this for another blog, but I've really been like, I've been struggling to really find to find my place, right, in all of this, and like figure out like what I know. I'm on a journey, but what exactly is the journey that I'm on, right? And obviously, like, weight loss and being a better CrossFitter, like those are my key things. But like, for a different blog, but um, like, I think really being here this week was like, it was really helpful, and it helped me really think about like, what goals do I want to have, right? Who do I want to surround myself with in order to get there, right? And it might mean that eventually I need to train in a different box. It may mean that I might need to pay for private coaching or private, it may mean I need to, work with a different type of nutritionist. Like all these different things. And so it's really kind of helped me like evaluate, like, what am I doing and where am I going? And I say that all the time at work, and now I've kind of applied that same logic to my own life. And I did make some decisions around nutrition. Again, different blog. I still have a couple more things that I want to look into that I need some advice from. So I'm going to talk to some of the people that are close to me around like supplementation and stuff like that. And then next is kind of dialing in that training aspect, right? And so, really putting in a little bit more time there. And like right now, I just do my one class a day. But I'm thinking about like, how do I build upon that? Like, how do I get some more accessory work in? Like, how do I, and really need to talk to my coach about that and just figure it out. And she's very knowledgeable. And then the coach I trained with when I lived in Madison is also incredibly knowledgeable. So this week it was like, I really felt like, you know what, like, I think I've got some clarity on, again, what am I doing and where am I going with this? And I'm not saying I'm never going to the CrossFit Games. It's not like that, but it's just about like getting on the right path, because I kind of feel like it's like I keep coming to forks in the road, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go left. And then I come to another fork. I'm like, oh, let's try going right now, and I think it's just about like really like, okay, here's the fork. Every single time you come to the fork, go to the left, because the left is where, if you stay to the left, everything's going to fall into place, right? And these are the steps that you have to do to make those things fall into place. So I've just kind of been I feel like I've been all over the place, and it's tough, right? Like I moved, right, this year, and this is going to sound strange. It's going to sound excusey, but it's not. I moved, and for the first time in 4 years, I was training with different people, and it's not the same. It is not the same, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I don't want you guys to be like, oh, Karen's digging on her box, like, no. And I recognize how gross that just sounded. You guys, dirty minds, all of you. I'm judging you. That's not it. It's just different. And, and I think that it's different enough that if I want to reach those goals, I am going to have to add some things to it. Otherwise, it's just, I just like, I'm going to run out of time, right? And I mean, not that I'm going anywhere, but, I would rather be ready to go full on into the open season in February of this year versus February of 2022 versus February of 2023, right? And so the only way that's going to happen is if I kind of take the initiative to make it happen, and invest in some different things. And so we're going to see where it's going to get me. And then, like I said, it might mean eventually, like, maybe definitely not this year, but it may mean that I might need to train in a different place, and that sucks, right? But I think that, like, my coach here, I think that she's creative enough that we'll be able to get and reach those, get to those goals without that having to be the case, right? And more so that the difference between the boxes, and I think that I've kind of explained this in a few vlogs before, is that some are more competition focused and some are just like, I want to get away from my kids for 45 minutes focused. And I'm somewhere in between that right now at my current box. And like, there are other boxes that are a little bit more, I would say, hardcore. I'm not saying I necessarily want to compete, but I also want to be around people who push me And I can't always get that. And so that means I have to push myself, which is fine. That's how you get good at stuff, right? Um, but I do kind of like the idea of being around people that, are working towards the same goals that I am. And I just haven't quite found that yet where I'm at. And not to say those people don't exist there. They might just be at a different class time. So I might have to kind of play around with that. But yeah, so this week really helped me a lot. So I'm pretty stoked. Anyway, so that's all I have for you. Thanks for listening to my random vlog. But yeah, so this week was absolutely phenomenal, and I understand that like USA weightlifters are also lifting today. We've won some medals there, which is awesome. I was always interested in Oli lifting. Swimming is doing wonderful. The gymnastics, Suni Lee from Minnesota, which is where I have family and went to school, won the all-around gold medal. Absolutely phenomenal, like great for her. And yeah, so I'm kind of following along with the Olympics too, but this week has all been 100% CrossFit because it's awesome. And if I may say, it is better than the Olympics. But different, right? It's not the same. So, but anyway, so that's all I have. I hope you all have had a fantastic weekend, and I encourage you to check out the replays of the CrossFit Games online. They will, should be on YouTube, and especially the last 2 days, the last like 4 events. You don't have to watch all day yesterday, but the last 4 events, like 16, 15, 14, 13, please watch and look at Annie Thorisdottir and watch what happened for her. So, yeah, it's a really cool story. And if you really want to feel the warm and fuzzies, 100% go watch that. So, anyway, guys, I hope you're all doing good, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!